problem. Seems there was a confusion between the last meeting URL and the new one. So it seems I was working with the last one. Okay. Let's not waste any more time. Last lecture I was talking about an introduction to the play, about the main characters, the main themes, about the main plot in the play. And today we are going to start with the text of the play. So I'm going to share with you the text of the play. Can you see it? Can you see the text of the play?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
yes,
good.
sir, we can.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
So some students are doing some annotations to on the screen. So please, if you could stop making these annotations. Okay, so this is the text of the play. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, starts from Act 1. I don't know if you have read the text. The first page and a half starts with the stage directions. There's no action at all. And you can tell that there's stage direction from the fact that it is written in italics, مكتوبة بالمائل. So dialogue is written in just normal font, normal type. And the stage directions are written in italics. So if you are following with me, it says, starts with something like that. A melody is heard, played upon a flute, small and fine, telling of grass and trees and the horizon, and then the curtain rises. So kind of the play starts with music and then the curtain rises. If you look here, the words grass, trees, and the horizon, these are kind of important things because later on we'll see the significance of grass and trees and the significance of nature and the natural elements in this. Okay, so before is the Salesman House. We are aware of towering angular shapes behind it, surrounding it on all sides. Only the blue light of the sky falls upon the house, and for stage, the surrounding area shows an angry glow of orange. More light appears. So we start with the house of the salesman of Willy Loman, and okay, and we see that the house is situated among some high buildings, and we have the word towering. These buildings as if they are kind of towering over the house, and the house is just a small entity among these buildings. And this is also significant, and we will return to it later. Okay, a more light appears. We see a solid vault of apartment houses around this small, fragile seeming house. So these words are significant, small and fragile seeming. Later on, we will have time, hopefully, to speak about that, why it is small, why it is described as small and fragile. Okay, an air of dreams, of the dream clings to the place, a dream rising out of reality. And here we have two important words, dream and reality. We have the word dream and reality. And later on, you remember we said that all what we are seeing is, or mostly what we are seeing is just a dream that we see from the imagination of Willy Loman. Okay, so the kitchen as center seems actual enough, for there is a kitchen table, 3 chairs, and a refrigerator. Okay, but no other fixtures are seen. At the back of the kitchen, there is a dropped entrance which leads to the living room. To the light of the kitchen, there is something important here. We have 3 chairs, not 4. Where we are supposed to have a family of 4, and instead of having 4 chairs, we have 3 chairs. Okay, keep that also in mind. To the light of the kitchen, on a level raised 2 feet, is a bedroom furnished only with a brass lustered and a straight chair on a shelf over the bed, a silver athletic trophy. This is also important. Stands a window opens on the apartment house at the side. Okay, so from this we said that the words grass and trees, they are referring to the idea of nature, and we see here the idea of nature versus culture, that before, and this is what Willy Loman is going to remember many times, before it was open around the house. So it was just trees and grass and so on, open nature. But then culture and construction buildings were replacing gradually this nature. And that's why we see now, in contrast to the past, now we see that the house is surrounded by these buildings. And when he says small and fragile seeming house, we have, they don't only refer to the house, they refer to Willy Loman himself. Like, not only is the house small and fragile, but also Willy Loman is small and fragile. Okay, and with the athletic trophy, this is something that might also refer to Biff, because you remember his son, his older son, Biff, was supposed to be an athlete, and maybe this thing that only stands there, the silver athletic trophy, might be referring to Biff. Okay, if we come to the second paragraph, behind the kitchen on a level raised 6.5 feet is the boys' bedroom at present, barely visible. 2 beds are dimly seen. Okay, so now we have another element. We have, in addition to the kitchen, we have a bedroom. Okay, boys' bedroom, which the bedroom of Happy and Biff. Okay, 2 beds are dimly seen. On the back of the room, a dormer window. This bedroom above the unseen living room. On the left, a stairway comes up to it from the kitchen. So the boys' bedroom is situated at the top, maybe kind of upstairs, and the living bedroom is downstairs. So the bedroom of Willy Loman and Linda is downstairs, while the bedroom of Biff and Happy is situated upstairs. Okay, so the entire setting is wholly, or in some places partially, transparent, and this is something important. Okay, so it is transparent in the sense that we can see everything in the house. And you remember we spoke previously about the broken fourth wall. The theater is like a room. Okay, and the room should have 4 walls. But here, instead of having 4 walls, we have only 3 walls, because the last wall is broken. Okay, and we can't see what is happening in the theater because the 4th wall was broken. So if there are four walls, we cannot see what is. We cannot see through. But we suppose that there's a room. 4 walls, or 4 walls, of which the last one was broken, and we can't see through. That's why it is kind of transparent. The roof line of the house is one-dimensional. Under and over it, we see the apartment buildings. Okay, and Before the house lies an apron covering beyond the first stage in the orchestra. This forward area serves as the backyard as well as the locale of all Willie's imaginings and of his city scenes. Okay, so the scenes that are dealing with the city in the play and the imaginings that take place in Willie's mind are situated in the backyard. Whenever the action is in the present, actors observe the imaginary wall lines, entering the house only through its door on the left. But in the scenes of the past, these boundaries are broken. Okay. So this tells us that there are two kinds of scenes, as we said before. Mainly the play is taking place in the present, but most of the action is taking place in the past, in the imagination of Willy Loman. We said that the play is based on flashbacks. So in order for the audience to know whether the action in front of them is taking place in the present or in the past, it depends on the walls. If the characters or the actors observe the imaginary lines or walls, then the action is in the present. If they do not observe these walls and go through these walls as if they do not exist, as if these walls do not exist, then the action is taking place in the past. So as we said that, and this is a source of the kind of the confusion in the play. And of course, so it is kind of taking place in the source of confusion, as we have said, that some of the action is taking place in the present, and some of the actions are taking place in the past. Okay, so we continue the stage directions. From the light Willy Loman, the salesman enters carrying two large sample cases. The flute plays on. He leaves, but is not aware of it. He is past 60 years of age, dressed quietly. Even as he crosses the stage to the doorway of the house, his exhaustion is apparent. So, kind of, he's exhausted. He's tired. He enters the house carrying two cases, two bags. These bags are of the things that he is selling, of the goods that he sells. And it is interesting that up to the end of the play, we do not really know what Willy Loman is selling. Yes, he is a salesman. He is selling goods, okay, but up to the end of the play, we are not given any information of what kind of goods he is selling, okay, and what some critics have said about that is interesting. Some critics have said that what Willy Loman is selling really is himself. He is selling himself. He's not selling anything else other than himself. So you can think about that. What is really in these cases? No one knows. There are maybe some hints here and there in the place, that we are going to see. He unlocks the door, comes into the kitchen, and thankfully lets his burden down, feeling this the sourness of his palms. So his hands were sour, were kind of aching him. A word sigh escapes his lips. It might be "oh boy, oh boy." So kind of this is the first sentence in the play. The first sentence that an actor or a character utters in the play, this "oh boy, oh boy," and mainly he might be thinking about Biff. So the word "boy," I think, mainly was referring to Biff. He closed the door, then carries his case into the living room through the draped kitchen doorway. So in order to arrive to the living room, he has to go through the kind of doorway. Through the kitchen. Okay, Linda, his wife, was stirred in her bed at the night. She gets out and puts on a robe. She was sleeping. She wakes up puss on a rope, listening, most often jovial. She has developed an iron repression of her exceptions to Willie's behavior. She more than loves him. Okay, and this is an answer to a question that Selma raised, I think, last lecture about why Linda is always siding with her husband and not siding with her sons. We always expect a mother to be siding with her sons, not with her husband. And we see Linda is different from that. Okay, so she admires him, although his mercurial manner, his temper, his massive dreams, and little cruelties served her only as sharp reminders of the turbulent longings within him. So she's kind of a woman who kind of who can bear her husband. Okay, and we see that after these long stage directions, we see that there is a kind of conversation. The conversation starts between Willie Loman and Linda, and let's see what that conversation is about mainly. Okay, so Linda was hearing Willie outside the bedroom calls with some trepidation. She is worried. Willie, it's all right, I came back. Why? What happened? So she feels that there is something. She feels that something has happened to him. And this is kind of part of the chemistry between them. Like, although he didn't say anything, but she can understand that. Did something happen, Willie? No, nothing. He denies that anything happened. Okay, you didn't smash the car, did you? So she's even more specific. Like, not only does she know that something happened, but also she knows specifically what happened, like smashing the car. And from that seems that is not the first time that Willie Loman is smashing the car. So I said nothing happened. Didn't you hear me? Okay. Don't you feel well? Okay. I'm tired to the death. I couldn't make it. I just couldn't make it, Linda. No matter how much he denies it, okay, still he confesses that he couldn't make it, and it could mean anything. I couldn't make it. Might mean that I couldn't sell anything, or I couldn't drive, maybe, or whatever. So he's confessing his limitations. You see, at the beginning he denies, and then he starts to confess, and his confession is coming gradually. So I couldn't make it. He kind of admits that there is something wrong, and later on he's going to give more details, as we are going to see. So Linda is very carefully, where were you all day? You look terrible. Okay, I got as far as little above Yonkers. This is a city. I stopped for a cup of coffee. Maybe it was the coffee. So maybe it was the coffee. Then it seems that something has happened, and he is trying to identify the reason behind that. And one reason he could think of is the coffee. Okay, so he is maybe the coffee. What I suddenly couldn't drive anymore. The car kept going off onto the shoulders, you know, and okay, so you see that I suddenly couldn't drive anymore, and now he is starting to give specific details about what really happened. So we know that from that, Linda was right at the beginning when she said what happened. Seems she knows that something has happened, and she guesses that, and we know that her hunch or her guess is quite accurate. Something happened to him, and she was specific. It was about smashing the car, And it was really that. So he denies at the beginning. He says, no, nothing happened, and blah, blah, blah. But then he starts to confess. At the beginning, he says, he says I couldn't make it, and then he blames it on the coffee, and then he becomes more specific and says it was about the car. It was about driving. So the car kept going off onto the shoulder, or maybe it was the street again. I don't think Angelo knows the steering. Sorry, again, the Studebaker. Okay, so what Linda is saying that. Linda is blaming that on the steering. Okay, so you see that at the beginning he blames it on the coffee and she blames it on the steering. And so Angelo is the car mechanic who kind of fixes the car of Willy Loman, and seems he doesn't know how to deal or how to fix this kind of car, which is the Studebaker. Okay, Willy, no, it's not me. It's me. It's me. Suddenly I realize I'm gonna 60 miles an hour, and I don't remember the last 5 minutes. I cannot seem to keep my mind on it. So this is the problem. Since it's not the coffee, it's not the steering, but rather the problems with his mind. So my mind was, I cannot keep my mind. And this is the real problem. Linda, maybe it is your glasses. So still Linda doesn't want to blame it on him. Linda is trying to comfort him. What Linda was trying to say to him is, it's not something wrong with you. It is something outside of your control. Maybe it's the glasses, or maybe it is the steering and so on, but it's not wrong with you. Okay, well, no, I see everything. So Willie now is even more realistic than Linda. She tries to comfort him. She tries to say to him, there is nothing wrong with you, but he says, no, there is certainly something wrong with me. So he says, I see everything. It's not the problem with the glasses. Okay, I came back 10 miles an hour. It took me nearly 4 hours from the Yonkers. Okay, Linda. Okay, well, she's resigned. She kind of well, there's nothing she can do about that. He smashed the car. It was his own mistake. It was his mind. There is nothing to say more about that. Okay. Well, you'll just have to take a rest, Willie. You can't continue this way. I just got back from Florida. Okay, but you didn't rest your mind. Your mind is overactive. The mind is what counts there. So this is mainly the problem with Willy Loman, his mind. It is overactive. He is overthinking everything. Okay, so I'll start on the morning. Maybe I'll feel better in the morning. Okay, this Gadama arch supports. She's taking off his shoes, and this is kind of you see, this is kind of the traditional relationship between a man and wife. So this kind of patriarchal relationship between them, and so the arch supports, he says, are killing me. Take an aspirin. She advises him, should I get you an aspirin? It will soothe you. It will kind of soothe the pain that the arch supports are doing to your feet. Okay, with Wonder, I was driving alone, you understand. As I was fine, and I was fine. I was even observing the scenery. Okay, and this is something else. You remember we said that Willy Loman is a man infatuated with nature. He is very much concerned about the existence of trees and grass and so on. Okay, now he says that even when he's driving, he's observing the scenery, the trees on the road, okay, the landscape on the road. Okay, you can imagine me looking at scenery on the road every week of my life, but so beautiful up there, Linda. The trees are so thick and the sun is warm. So you see how he is speaking about nature. And as we have said, you have to, or you need to kind of consider this opposite that the writer Arthur Miller is creating between culture on the one hand and nature on the other hand. Okay, so I opened the windshield and just let the warm air bathe over me. Okay, and then all of a sudden I'm going off the road. I'm telling you, absolutely forgot I was driving. So what sorry, what happened is that he was driving. He was very much infatuated with the scenery, with the landscape, with the trees. He was looking at them. He was absorbed in the scenery to the extent that he forgot that he was driving, and this what caused really the accident, the smashing of the car. If I would gone the other way over the white line, I might have killed somebody. So it could have been worse. Okay, but thanks God, it didn't happen like that. So I went on again, and 5 minutes later, I'm dreaming again. Okay, so this is the problem. He dreams while he's driving. As we have said, his mind is overactive, and he couldn't even kind of know, or he couldn't even remember that he was driving. So he forgets even the fact that he is driving. Okay. I have such thoughts. I have such strange thoughts. And as we have said, all these words, mind, thought, dreaming, daydreaming, they all refer to the same problem that we referred to earlier. Why will you talk to them again? There is no reason why you cannot work in New York. Okay. So talk to them. Okay. Talk to them. Linda was talking about the company to which Willie Loman was working. And the company is in New York. And Willie Loman is living in New York. Okay, so what he needs to do is, what is the problem really with Willie Loman is that he is living in New York, but he has to go to other cities. So because he is old enough, he's over 60 years old, so he needs to stay in the city and work in the city. Okay, and this is the problem with Willie Loman. So just a reminder, we might be cut because we are running out of time. If this happens, I will restart the lecture, and we will restart the lecture and continue again if this happens. Okay, so he needs to be working the same city that he's living in, because he is old. He is old and he cannot drive anymore. He cannot continue his life driving just like that. Okay, so okay. So, Willie, they don't need me in New York. I'm the New England man. I am vital in New England. So he is traveling to New England. He's supposed to be selling goods in New England. But and when he says that I'm the New England man and I'm vital in New England, we'll know later that that is just about boasting, and it's just it is wrong. He's lying. He's not the New England man. He's not vital in New England. Later on, we'll see that he couldn't sell anything. So when he says that I'm a New England man, we know that this is not the case. Okay. So, but he tries to convince himself that he is vital to the company, that he is an important person, that the company cannot get rid of him because he's doing them business and so on. And we know that this is wrong. Okay, Linda, but you are 60 years old. They cannot expect you to keep traveling every week. And so this is the reason why she's asking him, because traveling is much difficult for him. He is dreaming, he cannot drive, he always kind of unconscious of the road. So it is very dangerous for him to drive in the highways. So he should ask the company to give him a job in the same city in New York, okay, rather than force him to go to other cities like in New England in order to work. Okay, he says, I have to send a wire to Portland. I'm supposed to see Brown and Morrison tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to show the line. I gotta seal them. Okay. Linda, okay. And he starts putting on his jacket. He even remembers that he has to put it off. Okay, so he starts to put it on, which Linda takes off again from him. And she says to him, why don't you go down to the place tomorrow and tell Howard, okay, you are simply got to work in New York. You are too accommodating, dear. Okay. So what she is saying to him, you have to go to the company, and the company, and now the man who's running the company is called Howard Wagner. And you have to ask him that you should be working in New York and you shouldn't be traveling anymore. Okay. Willie, if old man Wagner, and Wagner was the father of Howard. Okay, and seems Willie has been working for more than 30 years. He says previously 34 years. Okay, so he was saying that he was working for all that time for the company, for Wagner, when Howard was very, very young, was just a newborn baby. Okay, so he's saying that when old man Wagner was alive, I would have been in charge of New York now. Okay, and you see the word in charge. Okay, so he's always trying to kind of give himself importance that he doesn't really have. Okay, so I would be in charge of New York. Even if Wagner was alive, in fact, Willie is not going to be in charge of New York. He will just be a salesman in New York. So he'll just be a worker in New York. Okay. So that man was a prince. He's speaking about Wagner. He was a masterful man, but the boy of his, okay, that Howard, he don't appreciate. He doesn't appreciate my service that I gave to the company. And you see how he speaks about Howard. Okay. And later we are going to see this kind of power dynamic. Like now Willie considers himself to be the powerful person because he's old, and Howard is young, is a boy. Okay. But later on we'll see that who's really in power is Howard, although he's younger than Willie, but we'll see that he is the one who has the money. Okay, he's the one who owns the company. He's the one for whom Willie is working, and not the other way around. Okay, so when I went north the first time, the Wagner company didn't know where the New England was. So he's trying to say that they should appreciate my service to the company, that I opened new avenues for business for them. They were not aware of New England. They were not aware of the opportunities that lurked in New England. And it was me, Willie Loman, and not any other one, who kind of opened the market of New England to the Wagner company. So the Wagner company should be appreciative of my work, which it is not now. Okay. So Linda, why don't you tell these things to Howard, dear? I will. I definitely will. Is there any cheese? He seems hungry. Okay. I'll make you a sandwich now. Go to sleep. I'll take some milk. I'll be up right away. The boy's in. He's now. He was talking about himself. He's talking about his business, his difficulties, health difficulties, mental health difficulties, his his relationship to the company, and now he tends to speak about the boys. The boys in, yes, they are sleeping. Linda is saying, okay. Happy took Biff off on a date tonight. That's so. He seems interested. It was so nice to see them shaving together, one behind the other in the bathroom and going out together. You notice, okay, the whole house smells of shaving lotion. Okay. So Linda seems is very happy because after really a long while, after Biff was away from the house, he's back, and all the beautiful days are back, and the boys are together. They are sleeping together. When they woke up in the morning, they were shaving together, just like they used to do in the past, and one after another. So what Linda is joyful about is the memory. It's not about that this moment is beautiful and so on, so on. So no, it is not. But rather, it just is a reminder of a beautiful moment that they were living, that they used to live. Okay, so it was so nice to see them shaving together, one behind the other in the bathroom, and going out together. You notice the whole house smells of shaving ocean. Will you figure it out? Just think about that. Work a lifetime to pay off a house, you finally own it, and there is nobody to live in it. And this is one of the great sentences in the play. Like, it's really an irony. Like, you work for a lifetime in order to own a house. He bought a house, and he was kind of paying the mortgage of the house. يعني يدفع أقساط هذا البيت. And until finally it pays the last kind of amount of money that is incurred on the house. And when the house is his own, finally, there is no one to live in it. There's nobody to live in it. Like, you work all this lifetime in order to own a house, in order to get your family together. But when finally you really own the house, you are very old and nobody is